What if I told you the future isn't just coming, it's already here? Imagine unlocking your bank account, your front door, even your identity. Not with a password, not with a card, but with your mind. That's exactly what Elon Musk's Neuralink chip is promising. But as I read the headlines, I can't help but think, is this just technology or prophecy unfolding right before our eyes? See, in Revelation 13, we read about a mysterious mark of the beast, a sign on the hand or forehead without which no one can buy or sell. What if Neuralink is that mark? Let's be honest, the technology to monitor, trace and control every financial transaction globally is already here. Governments are selling it as the ultimate crime-fighting tool. AI is being used to track population movements, detect unusual behavior, and even predict what you'll buy next. Sounds convenient, right? But here's the thing. With convenience comes control. If you're locked out of your brain chip, you're locked out of your whole life. And who gets to decide who's in or who's out? That's the part that matters, especially for believers who value freedom, of faith, of choice, of conscience. So in this video, we will be exploring it further. It's time to wake up, stay alert, and think biblically about where technology is taking us. The future's not just coming, it's already here. The real question is, are we ready to live wisely in it?
Have you heard about Neuralink? It might sound like science fiction, but it is happening now. Neuralink is a brain-computer interface developed by Elon Musk's company. The big goal is to help people with paralysis, memory loss, or other neurological problems. Imagine being able to communicate, move, or even regain lost senses just by thinking. But it doesn't stop there. Eventually, the vision goes beyond healing into enhancing. The long-term idea is to connect the human brain directly to artificial intelligence, creating a human-machine hybrid, a fusion of biology and technology. Sounds like science fiction. It's already in clinical trials. In 2024, the first Neuralink chip was implanted in a human being, and it worked. The person was able to move a computer cursor with just their thoughts. Imagine thinking a thought and your computer obeys. You can type an email, open a door, or control an environment without lifting a finger. Incredible, yes? But if it can read your thoughts, who else can? Think about it. If your brain is connected to the internet, if your thoughts are data, if your memories can be accessed, stored, or worse, edited, then privacy as we know it is gone. What happens when this technology is no longer just medical but mandatory? What if it becomes a new standard for communication, identification, or financial transactions? They're already talking about brain chip payments. No more credit cards, no more cash, just a thought and your transaction is done. Convenient or controlling. Governments around the world are promoting similar technologies as a future of security and crime prevention. Chips that track your movements, monitor your brain activity, or analyze your behavior in real time. But here's the question. Who controls the system? Who decides what's acceptable thinking or unacceptable? The world could become one giant monitored network, not just your purchases, not just your movements, but your mind. And for those familiar with the Bible, this sounds familiar. In Revelation chapter 13 speaks of a time when no man might buy or sell save he had the mark. A global system of control that restricts participation based on loyalty and submission. Could Neuralink or technologies like it be a step towards the mark of the beast? A way to normalize implants, to digitize identity, to merge man with machines, and ultimately to surrender our God-given humanity to artificial control. This isn't just a science project. This is prophecy given by God through John the Revelator nearly 2,000 years ago. The time will come when economic access, the ability to buy, sell, eat, and live would be controlled by a global system, enforced by a mark. It's a system built not just on politics or power, but on technology, and the word says the mark will be in the right hand or in the forehead. Where the brain chips implanted? The forehead. Where are hand chips being placed? In the right hand. With modern chips and AI, this prophecy doesn't feel so distant anymore. In fact, it feels like we're on the threshold of Revelations 13. Governments are already testing cashless societies. In Sweden, thousands have implanted chips in their hands to make payments, open doors, and store ID. Digital IDs are becoming mandatory in some nations. China has a social credit system monitoring every move, every word, every thought, rewarding the obedient and punishing the defiant. Imagine when the system becomes worldwide, when every citizen is tracked, when every transaction is approved or denied based on your compliance. And what about a chip in your brain? It promises power, speed, convenience. But at what cost? You cannot buy food until you upgrade your chip. What will you do? If it says you cannot receive health care unless you take the mark, will you comply? This is the kind of control Revelation spoke about. It's not just about a symbol, it's about worship, allegiance, and ownership. The mark is more than a product, it's a pledge of loyalty to the beast. Jesus said in Matthew 24 that in the last days many will be deceived, and the enemy will not come with horns and pitchfork, he will come with solutions, miracles, and technology that promises to fix the world problem. But behind the scenes, it will all lead to bondage. What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world, AI access, medical breakthroughs, superhuman abilities, and loses his own soul? And what we once thought impossible is now being promoted in schools, corporation, and even churches. Let him that had understanding see. Neuralink may seem like science fiction, but Revelation has warned us. Not everything powerful is righteous. Not everything legal is godly. Not everything advances from above. Surveillance isn't just for spies anymore. Today it's for everyone. Every move you make, it is tracked. Facial recognition is stored in public places. Phone GPS logging your location 24/7. Biometric ID scanning your eyes, fingerprints, and even your heartbeat. Smart cities with cameras on every corner. Digital currencies tracking every cent you spend. Every transaction, every location, every word spoken near a phone or smart speaker can be monitored. Your life is becoming a digital footprint, easily followed, easily analyzed, and easily controlled, and it's already happening. China has rolled out social credit system where every citizen is scored based on their obedience to government standards. Buy too many video games, scores go down. Criticize the authorities, your travel rights are revoked. Hang out with someone the system doesn't like, you're flagged. And here's the terrifying part. It's not just what you do, it's how the system interprets your motives. Now combine that system with AI, artificial intelligence, that doesn't sleep, doesn't forget, and doesn't forgive. What happens when AI judge your moral choices? Not just a human jury, not a pastor, not even the Holy Spirit, but a machine, deciding if you're loyal, compliant, or rebellious. Imagine a world where AI can detect your tone of voice and predict your thoughts, where your beliefs are considered dangerous, where standing for Christ is labeled extremist, where quoting scripture is hate speech, where refuse a digital implant is seen as a threat to public safety. This is not imagination, this is implementation. All the tools already exist, and in the wrong hands, under the wrong control of the Antichrist system, they can become weapons of oppression. You'll be categorized, scored, and either granted access or locked out. No buying, no selling, no traveling, no living unless you bow down to the system. And the line between technology and theology disappears. Revelation 13 isn't distant anymore. It's become invisible. It's no longer a question of if, but when. God told us to watch and be ready, because when the world cries out for safety and convenience, the Antichrist will offer solutions. He will come with promises of peace, but he will deliver chains of control. And for many, these chains will be welcomed because they'll be hidden in the form of technology, comfort, and security. But we must remember, Jesus said, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." During COVID-19, the world got a preview. Internationally, people were locked out of stores, restaurants, workplaces, and even churches, not because they were sick, but because they didn't have a QR code or app proving their vaccination status. In Trinidad and Tobago, people couldn't travel without presenting their vaccination card. Your ability to move, gather, and participate in daily life was controlled by vaccination. That was not the final system, but it was a test run. It can be viewed as a worldwide experiment in compliance, and it worked. People just took the vaccine just to be able to do their daily duties and to travel. Now the next stage is here, digital money. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, are not like cash, they are programmable. That means the government or central bank can decide how, when, and where your money works. They could restrict what you can spend on, blocking certain purchases, limit where you can spend, only approved stores or zones, set expiration dates, forcing you to spend by a certain time, freeze or cancel your funds if you disobey policies or speak out. Imagine standing up for your faith and your money disappears, or refusing a digital implant and you're locked out of the economic system. Now combine that with a brain chip or a digital ID embedded in your body. No more wallets, no more passwords, just a scan from your hand or a signal from your forehead and you're verified or denied. But what they're accepting is control disguised as progress. And once it's inside you, once you rely on it for daily life, you're no longer free. It's not just about a spiritual mark, but a spiritual allegiance. It's about who you trust, who you obey, and who owns you. The world is moving fast, and what seems extreme 5 years ago is now being rolled out in public policy, banking, and technology. This isn't science fiction. It is prophetic reality unfolding before our eyes. Governments promote these technologies under the label of security and health. They say prevent crime, stop terrorism, heal the sick, make the world safer. It all sounds noble, but it always costs freedom. The trade-off, you give up control for convenience. And once you give it up, you rarely get it back. Real-world examples are everywhere. AI-powered cameras now scan public areas and alert police if you look nervous or suspicious, not for what you did, but how you look. Biometric scanners are now standard at airports and borders, tracking faces, fingerprints, and even emotional responses. Law enforcement agencies are working with brain-computer interfaces to try and predict criminal behavior based on thought patterns and emotion. They say it's for safety, but what happens when your faith or your values or your beliefs are labeled as dangerous thinking? Innocent people can be silenced or shut out of society with a flip of a switch. No trial, no evidence, just an algorithm that decides if you're a threat. One wrong opinion, access denied. One sermon too bold, bank account frozen. One refusal to comply, you're labeled unfit for society. And the world applauds it because it's under the ban of protection. But the Bible warned of this time. In Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20 it says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and put darkness for light and light for darkness." That's what's happening today. Truth is being punished, lies are being celebrated, and systems of control are being worshipped as saviors. The spirit behind it is not new. It's the same spirit that filled Pharaoh when he oppressed Israel. It's the same spirit that filled Nebuchadnezzar when he demanded worship. It's the same spirit that crucified Jesus to silence truth. And it's the same spirit will rise again in Antichrist, using technology as a tool of global deception and domination. These tools, AI chips, digital ID, surveillance, they're not inherently evil. But in the wrong hands, they become the infrastructure of the beast. Tools of control, not freedom. Tools of oppression, not healing. Tools to create a world where every soul is tracked, traced, and tamed unless they bow. But we are not called to bow. We are called to stand. Google tracks every location you visit. Facebook builds a shadow profile of non-users. Satellites can read a license plate from orbit. Every phone is a tracking device. It's not coming, it's here. And all of it is preparing the world for a system where every person is numbered, monitored, and manipulated. We are not called to fear, but to be watchful.